Look at Paul Brown Stadium here in Cincinnati, Ohio. The enthusiasm of this Cincinnati crowd in full effect a moment ago as their Bengals took the field to the delight of this sold-out crowd. And they're all set as they'll match up with the Houston Texans. This will be taken very short. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Now a play fake here on first down. Flushed out right. And his first look is incomplete.
What's the old adage, be quick but don't hurry? Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of, otherwise he was going to get sacked.
So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. They'll run it here. This is Deontay Foreman. And he'll get about 3 as he takes this up near the 25.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback, and no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
A tough spot here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 7. From the gun, here's Watson. Flush to his right. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. Now here's Ross. A big boot that time. 57 yards the official distance. And the Bengals will take over here 1st and 10. So here's Dalton and the Bengals now, 1st and 10 at their own 22. The former 2nd-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. Defenders giving chase, but I don't think they're going to get there. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score. A big play there, 78 yards. And the Bengals are going to take a first-quarter lead. And his kick is good. Bullock out now to kick this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or 2 shy of the 30. Houston's offense taking the field again, and they were one of a few teams last week that really got an important, maybe season-changing win. You know, Pittsburgh had one, the Vikings had one, but the Houston Texans, a team that could have dropped to 1-4, but they won in OT against Dallas.
And you remember in preseason, I thought Atlanta would go to the Super Bowl. They're at 1-4, and they're really struggling because of injuries as well. Houston was another team that I said would be greatly improved and could be a surprise team, and they are starting to hit their stride in the AFC South. Got to overtime with Dallas, backed up on their own 10-yard line, and Deshaun Watson leads the drive for the game-winning field goal. How about the throw he made to DeAndre Hopkins, and how about the run after catch, where Hopkins became a whirling dervish twice to pick up big yardage and set up Fairbairn for the game-winning field goal. Look out now. They can get to 500 next week at home against Buffalo. And before what could be a huge game at Jacksonville in Week 7.
Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. It finds his target, Fuller. First catch for him. It's good for a dozen and a first down.
In today's football, where receivers break tackles, make people miss, get upfield for the extra yardage. When you see a play like that where it's caught and he's dropped on the spot, that's a big-time play by the defense.
Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
I think the last two plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those two that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30. Another 13 yards there twice in a row, and they're on the move. Another first down as well. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Watson hands this to Foreman. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. Dre Kirkpatrick, the cornerback, up to make the stop.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
On second down, here's Miller. And he'll get this one down to about the 27. The linebacker, Preston Brown, brings him down.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size and these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. And it's complete. They're going to get the first. And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. As his guys are in for 6. And the Texans are an extra point away from tying this football game. And the fake field goal works to perfection. You don't see it often, and they caught him by surprise.
And how about the guts to call it in that situation? Think you're going to get an easy 3? Instead, you turn it into 6.
Fairbairn good with the extra point, and we are tied at 7. So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Bengals offense now, they head back onto the field. And coming off a one-play drive that was so deflating for the defense, what's their mentality? How do they rally here and stop this offense?
Well, hopefully there's some determination that sets in because they weren't ready to go on the last one. Give all the credit to the offensive guys for getting it done, but to allow a run of that length, that's just not being prepared. So now, are they determined? Are they ready to read their keys and make the proper plays?
And we'll see how determined they are.
52, 93, 44.
On second down, here's Mixon. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a third down. A tale of two extremes. First carry, he went for a bundle. His second goes backward.
And how many times have we seen that happen? Because you get that big carry, and you come back and you're all fired up, and sometimes you force a run a little bit, right? Trying to break off that big carry again, and instead it works opposite.
Third down from the gun. Dalton. He's going to wind up and air it out. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. It's the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And a great return as he gets this all the way down close to the 30-yard line.
And that's a great example of ball skills right there, partner. You and I do a lot of games, and I can't tell you how many guys look to run with the football before they've intercepted it. So that's a nice job of focusing on the task at hand and coming away with the interception.
They'll run with Foreman. And he's going to take this one down to the 25. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
Well, that run right there was an offensive line coach's dream, wasn't it? Guys picked up all of their assignments, created a nice gap for the running back to get through, pick up 7 yards. Yeah, he's probably chortling on the headset right now saying, we got it going, boys. Let's keep it going.
And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a third down. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and it's Texans football as we get going in quarter number 2. They've got a 3rd down and 5 to start things out.
We're set.
Now it's Watson. Setting up the screen for Miller. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. And a loss of 3 to bring up 4th. The kick by Fairbairn is good. And they take the lead here now at 10-7. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. It's what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field. A tale of two extremes already in this game. A touchdown pass on their opening drive followed by an interception last time out.
Now, it sounds like things balance out, right? What's that mythological thing that we do? If you have a candy bar, have a diet soda with it, and balances it out. And we know that's not really true, right? Because the interception, that sting lingers a little bit longer. Got to come out now and put together some nice plays.
A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick first down.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking him.
Looking for Green, and it's intercepted. Picked off here by Aaron Colvin. And he'll return this one just shy of midfield to the 49. Allow me to sidestep for a second after that incompletion, CD. Let's talk about the rookie quarterbacks, because just last week we were talking about them going 0-4. But this past weekend, 4-0 for the rookie QBs.
Remember that seesaw we used to jump on when we were kids? You're up, you're down. Well, this week, they are way up. Sam Darnold and the Jets take out the Broncos. Baker Mayfield and his Browns in overtime. The fierce Ravens pass rush is foiled. And how about Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills taking the measure of the Tennessee Titans, who are up to a 3.
And he'll be taken down by the Bengal pressure. Carlos Dunlap in there to get him for a loss of 5. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result? Quarterback gets hit.
On third down, Miller. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and it'll bring up a 4th down.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. Officially, that'll be marked down as just a 28-yard punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. So here's Dalton and the Bengals now, 1st and 10 at their own 16.
Here you go. 93, 52, 93, 44, 44. Here you go.
Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football. But I think a Bengal player was able to get in there. He was. And they'll keep possession of the football.
On plays like this, when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive. First and 10 for Dalton. Open man is Uzama. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Dalton throwing on 2nd down. And his throw here's incomplete. He was looking for his favorite target, A.J. Green, that time. And it'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown him a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after him. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Zach Cunningham with a pick. And to the 43. So down inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. That's where they'll take over. After the interception, here's Watson. Trying to get it to Thomas, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Preston Brown, the linebacker. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops. He was trying to hit Thomas that time. Well, right now we are 5 weeks into the NFL season. Charles, switching gears here. Two undefeated teams, the Rams and the Chiefs, both at 5-0.
And who's going to end up being the first to lose? That becomes the game now, doesn't it? Because I know the 1972 Miami Dolphins team is waiting for both of them to lose so they can pop their champagne. But who's it going to be? The Chiefs' upcoming schedule? They're at New England, home against Cincinnati, home against Denver. How about for the Rams? 3 of their next 4 on the road. At Denver, at San Francisco, home against the Packers, at the New Orleans Saints. Can you make a prediction?
Well, I obviously Chiefs at the Patriots, that could be one. But the Rams, 3 of the next 4 on the road. I'm going to say, though, the Chiefs drop 1 in New England. How about you?
I'm going to say that they're actually going to drop it at home against Cincinnati. That's my big upset.
First chance in the red zone for the Bengals now. They've got it 1st and goal at the 6. Well, they go with a tight end carry. And he'll get him a bit closer as he's down to the 2-yard line. And now the Texans are going to stop it as they signal for a timeout. As they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half. From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. Mixon trying to punch it in. And he is in. Touchdown, Bengals. A great play there with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half. And the Bengals are in for 6. And he'll bang that one through. Bullock out now to kick this one away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk.
The Bengal pressure gets him that time. Down he goes. Carl Lawson in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8.
I know there'll be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and end up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make. You feel like you've got momentum on your side.
Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going. And that will be incomplete with a clock down now to 13 seconds. The Texans on 3rd down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. This will be a tough 3rd and 18. Play action for Miller. Now Watson. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go. Decent gain on the scramble to 6, but now it's 4th. And they're going to take a timeout defensively. So with 4th down coming up, they go ahead and burn it and say we'll see what happens. The Texans send the punter out as he's on to kick it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Ross on the return. So we've hit intermission. It's halftime. This is the NFL, and it's a presentation of EA Sports. All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Bengals set to receive. They have the lead and the football to begin quarter number 3. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And some space here. And nothing but daylight ahead. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score. Alex Erickson with a return of 102 yards. And the Bengals are able to grow their lead. And you've used the phrase with me before, pressing the kicking game. What exactly does that mean? Because they did it there.
It means focusing on it, all aspects of it, because it's the 3rd part of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. If you press the kicking game, create an advantage, make a big play, it often leads to victory.
Here's the Texans offense now, readying for their first possession of the second half. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
No gain on that run. And while the team is down, there's still time to come back and win the football game. If I'm the offensive coordinator, though, I've got to think about moving at a faster pace and maybe opening things up a little bit and throwing it a little bit more.
On second down, here's Watson. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Carl Lawson in there to get him his second sack now of the afternoon.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
Eluding the pressure right. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go. Give him 9 on the play, and that's going to bring up a fourth down.
Well, it's not going to be a first down, but that's a nice job of picking up yardage on third and long. Sometimes you just have to take what the defense gives you, and in this case, it wasn't enough to pick up the first down.
This is taken around the 12. Call that a 48-yard punt and made even better by a loss on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Bengal offense now gets set to head back out onto the field. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical. Every now and then, they'll get after you if they think they need to light a fire. But in this case, let's go into the virtual locker room, because here's what I think happened. They got in there and they said, listen, let's take control right away. Defense, we got the lead. Defense, don't give up any points.
Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. Christian Covington in there to sack him for a loss of 6. After the sack, they'll come up now third and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Got a man, it's Ross, complete. And he takes it all the way down to the 32. A big play there on the catch and run. 59 yards. So how about this for a change in field position? From inside the 10, here's first down on the other side of the field. A first down throw coming for Dalton. Green with a catch left side. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule. The second down attempt there knocked down as it leaves the quarterback's hand, and it's incomplete. They tried to throw on second down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. He lost 2, and it brings up 4th.
They tried to run right into the teeth of the defense on third down, but looked like those teeth were pretty sharp.
They were having absolutely none of it. Stuffed them for a loss.
Yeah, couldn't get any leverage up front and move people aside in order to run the ball.
So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
Man, things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front 7? As they got closer to the goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
And now out comes Houston. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. This drive starting off on the right foot, 18 yards.
Black, 9 and up.
1st and 10. Watson escaping the punt, and he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage as he's going to be taken down. Carl Lawson able to disrupt yet another pass play, his 3rd sack of the afternoon. After the sack, here's 2nd and 11. They'll run it now out of the gun. 20. Touchdown, Houston. Lamar Miller, 46 yards. And the Texans draw a bit closer. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. And out now, here come the Bengals. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met.
And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. A big play there. 69 yards. And the Bengals add on to their lead. Bullock out now to kick this one away. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. And here comes the Texans now. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2-minute. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
Miller. And room to run as he's up past the 35-yard line. 9 yards on the carry there, and that will be the final play of quarter number 3. Back now in Cincinnati. It's Texans football, but they trail here as we get started in the 4th quarter. They'll run it again with Miller. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive. Now, yes, a 2-possession game, but a good chunk of time on the clock, so they have the ability still there to run it on 2nd and short, but maybe they need to pick it up a bit.
You're right. They did pick up the first down there, but as you mentioned, they have to pick up the pace now because it's a 2-possession game. They've got to get there twice to make sure they have a chance to win.
A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves them with a 2nd and 3.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. Jesse Bates made the tackle from his safety spot. The Texans on 3rd down. It's been a problem. Just 1 for 7 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. A carry for Foreman. And he's got the first down yardage as he takes it down to the 49. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. They go play action here on first down. And he was hit as he threw it there, and it forces it incomplete.
Well, the pressure, the hits, the sacks have been coming at him all game long. I'm frankly surprised that they haven't found a solution yet to create more time for him to throw it. or maybe change what they do on offense.
And that's one of the biggest differences in this game and why they're losing right now. It's complete on the bubble screen. That's Fuller. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A good pickup there of 20 yards. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, you're down 2 scores. I don't think you need to rush just yet, but you can't take your time either.
Yeah, even if you don't want to commit to full 2-minute offense, you have to up the tempo, up the urgency. Maybe you're starting to call 2 plays in a huddle each time you snap the ball.
And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Jordan Willis able to drop him for a loss of 4.
No doubt that's a very good play defensively right there, because you've always got to be aware that he can take off and make a big play with his legs. How about the way they were able to contain him? That also tells me the coverage was excellent downfield.
And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. And it looks like a pickup of 6. That leaves him with 7 yards to go on 3rd down. Watson hands to Miller on the draw. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. It's good for a gain of 7, but still a few inches short here with 4th down coming up. And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter. Let's see how this plays out. Here's Watson. The catch made by Miller. And now Miller hit, and he fumbles. And the Bengals grab it. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Brandon, I don't want to violate any of our broadcasting rules by declaring a game over before it's over. But that one, that puts him in real jeopardy there.
Absolutely. It was a 2-possession game. It is a 2-possession game at this stage in the 4th. They needed points out of that drive.
And obviously now, no chance at all to get those points that they so desperately needed.
You know, I was going to ask you if maybe they should surprise and pass the ball, but where they're at on the field, I think keep it on the ground, right?
I like where you're going with this one, because field position is going to determine these play calls. And backed up where they are,
And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. And now this defense try to use the clock to their advantage. They'll take the timeout here with 2:08 left. And then they'll have another stop coming up at the 2-minute warning. So the sack, and now it's 3rd and long for Dalton and the Bengals. Out of the gun, it's Dalton. He's got his man here. It's Green. And they take this up near the 30 before he's taken down. And they convert on 3rd with a gain of 22. Time for a break. We'll come back to wrap this one up after this. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Mixon with a 1st down carry. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. 11 more yards that go around, a 1st down as well. We've seen him break off a big run already in this game, and for a second, that one looked like it might be another.
Yeah, I think that any defense would say, look, we can't let him get to the 2nd level, because sometimes he'll break off the big run on his own, but oftentimes you get additional blocking at the 2nd level, which gets you deeper into the secondary.
And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. Got to figure the rush is going to be fierce again as they come up 2nd and 13. Dalton with a give here to Mixon. He'll be dropped shy of the 40 despite an excellent display of footwork. Tackle made by Whitney Merciless. And play is stopped here. Timeout. It's the defense calling the timeout here, as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds left to go. And the Bengals on 3rd down, 2 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd down and 12. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. A big gain there, and that should certainly be enough to put this one in the win column. And Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
That'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our hardworking crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, find us on Twitter at EA Madden NFL. It's a win for the Bengals as we say so long from Cincinnati.